So, do you know the expression that it can be hard to see the forest for the trees? Yeah, it's a well-known Danish expression. And in many ways, it describes very well the feeling my good friend Andreas and I had 6 years ago. And it's that feeling that I would like to address today. It is the feeling of being deceived. It is the feeling of that someone stole something that belongs to all of us. And it's the feeling want to do something about it and fight back. But first, I would like to do a small experiment with you. I want you all to imagine that you are buying something from me. And what you are buying is the air that is in this room. So, the first time that you're breathing, there'll be no charge. Let's just try it. Breathe in, and breathe out. Perfect. See, the second time that you're breathing, the price will be €1 because I say so. Let's breathe in, breathe out. €1,000. Let's do it one more time. But now the price will be €3 because I say so. Breathe in and breathe out. Thank you so much. My business is booming right now. And you might think that this is a bit unfair, but that I will say that you are, of course, free to go home and breathe for free at home. You're also welcome to go to the restroom and have a nice, deep mouthful of air. See, this is, of course, a meaningless experiment, because who would charge for a basic human need such as air? And who would charge for a basic human needs such as water? And water is exactly what I want to talk about today. 6 years ago, I attended the Chaos Pilots, the Danish Business and Entrepreneurship School. Andreas, who I mentioned in the beginning, and I managed to come up with not less than 5 different topics for our final projects at our final semester. And for different reasons, we failed to carry all of them out. And with less than 2 months to our final exam, we were getting quite desperate to actually have something to carry forward to our exam. We really did our best. We made up every morning, searching our minds, searching our computers, looking busy, but nothing happened, several weeks in a row. But then one morning when we met, one of those things that sometimes happened, a coincidence. By chance, we came across a link to a documentary about the bottled water industry in the United States. The documentary reported very vividly about the massive consequences and fraud with labeling of bottled water and how bad it was for the environment. This was about the same time that the world open-mouthedly became aware of all those shocking facts around plastic waste. You know, the facts like that we in 2050 will have more plastic in the ocean than fish. That scientists think that we all have microplastics in our bodies, something they actually later proved right. And that some kind of plastic packaging are cancer-causing. All those fine facts that sometimes go into one ear and then out of the other, and then we don't think more about it. Not because we don't care, but because we get overloaded with campaigns and information that makes it hard for us to distinguish between what is right and wrong. And as a defense mechanism, we close down to all of it. See, in my home country, Denmark, I believe that we have always seen ourselves in the very top when it comes to green initiatives. Surrounded by wind turbines and strong opinions, we shake our head when people don't share our green agenda. And therefore, it was also quite shocking to delve into the consumption of bottled water in Denmark. Because in Denmark, a country with less than 6 million people, we each year spend 335 million euros buying 150 million plastic bottles. And that despite that we in Denmark, just as in Germany, have some of the best tap water in the world. Actually, we have 245 strong standards to tap water, but only 16 to bottled water. And actually, tests showed us that a lot of the imported water, included the high-end water from France and Italy and even Fiji, could never make the test to become Danish tap water. The quality is simply not good enough. And by the way, Fiji is a country where only 50% of the population have access to clean drinking water. But nevertheless, we have shipped water from Fiji to all over the world for decades. And when we dove into the Danish market, the spring water market, as we call it in Denmark, we saw that it had nothing to do with spring. The major players just have taken some basic normal water drilling and named it after the company and added the word spring. Actually, a lot of the companies are even tapping the water from the same drill. The only difference is name and price. But something that is common for all of them was that it had nothing to do with spring water at all. So how could this happen? Without anyone realizing it and raved about it, to me it was quite shocking that we in our otherwise so green country as Denmark, that this was even legal. Well, it might be convenient to be able to buy a bottle of water when you are on the go. Yes, that's right. But allow me to make a small example that just underline how crazy this industry is. How many of you does have a car? Hands up. A lot of you. And what is the price for a liter of fuel in Germany these days? €1.50, yeah. Last time I checked, it was around €1.39. Maybe a little low, but that was last time I checked. What is the price of a bottle of water at a service station in Germany? €3. Let's be fair, I saw a bottle of water at a service station for €2.50, and that was for half a liter, making the liter price of bottled water €5, almost a time 4 to fuel. Just imagine if we told our grandparents when they were at our age that someday all of us, without protesting, would buy water to a factor 4 of fuel. Would they laugh or would they cry? So with all these informations, we said, hell no, we need to do something about it. So what should we do? Should we make a campaign? Should we set up an NGO and then risk that our message would drown out there together with all the other messages that people need to relate to? So we said to ourselves, no, we might need to do this a bit different. And we said to ourselves, so what if we accept that there is a market for stupid bottled water? And we see this more as a process where we want people to end up drinking more water directly from the tap. But if they don't have the option, we want to create a better alternative for them. And now it will, of course, be nice to say that we came up with some big, nice, academic, crazy solution on this. But again, it was a coincidence and maybe also a bit of luck that we came up with something that we maybe think could be a part of the solution. We said to ourselves, instead of standing outside of the bottled water market and yelling in, what about if we are joining the bottled water market and making our own water and asking people simply not to buy it? Maybe not a $1 million business model, but that was not the point. The point was to make 1 million changes of attitude. So Andreas and I, we looked at each other and said, let's do it. And then we designed this. This is something as simple as Danish tap water in an eco-friendly FFC carton. We even called it tap water. And instead of plastering it with colors and emotions, it has a simple look, and on the side of it, it wears the text, "If you have the option, you should always drink tap water." In other words, don't buy it. See, in a market where the price of water is higher than fuel, this was something that echoed. And it was like the collective Danish press just broke down and kept asking us the same question again and again and again. And the question was, so you want to kill the industry that you're part of? Yes, that is the purpose, that is the point of our... But if you kill the industry you're part of, you will not have any jobs. I'm sorry, sir, if we kill the bottled water industry, we are not afraid that we will not have a job afterwards. Sorry to say. And with that message, we entered the market, and the reaction couldn't have been any worse. Allow me just to read out some of the feedback we got on the social medias. There's one here saying, my head just exploded. And there's one here saying, what will the next thing be? Hot air in a can. The next one just says fraud with capital letters. It was like people had a hard time accepting that we were just trying to be honest about what we were selling. So was also someone here saying that after all, spring water is more of a product. To us it was quite clear that the consumers didn't yet really understand what we were about to do. So for me, as a salesperson, I have a background in sales. It was quite natural now that people and companies didn't understand just to start calling up people and explaining what our mission was. And that went really bad also. And it basically went like this, that I called people and said, yes, sir, it is true that we would like you to stop selling your very profitable bottled water and buy ours instead of, yes, sir, it is a bit more expensive though. And yes, it is, sir. Yeah, sir, it is correct that we were right on the carton that people should not buy it because they basically have it free at home. Sir, hello? Hello. And that went on for a very long time. We were actually very close to put down the project, which at that time had taken them through our exam. But then, one day, one of the bigger supermarket chains in Denmark called us up and said, we have seen your product, we think it's a good idea, let's try it out. And that made things rolling. And slowly, companies started to contact us, saying that they want to shift from plastic bottles to carton, that they wanted to shift to high-end imported water, to local Danish tap water. A lot of companies called and said, we have skipped bottled water completely, implemented water jugs, and are only using your cartons when it's absolutely necessary. That is 5 years ago now. And today, we supply some of the biggest companies and cultural institutions in Denmark with water. We have won the prize of Idealist of the Year, and several of the companies that we are working together with are banning plastic bottles. Thank you. 4 days from now, Denmark goes to the polls in a general election. And one of the candidates for Prime Minister, the person who's most likely going to win, are handing out our water as a part of her campaign. Because it has become her party's policy that bottled water is a bad thing and that we need to take much more care of our groundwater. And that is a success for us, because we are actually not only against plastic bottles. No, we are pro-Danish tap water. We are pro-clean groundwater for everyone. One of the CEOs, one of the largest manufacturers of bottled water in the world, once said in a Freudian slip that water is not a basic human need. It is something that should be privatized and sold. He took it back. And thank God for that, because that would have been just as stupid as privatizing air. See, we want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. And we believe that the companies that are prioritizing the green bottom line higher than the black one wins the future. And for the same reason, we do not export our water. None of you, not even if you begged, would be able to buy water from us, because we will never in a million years make a new Fiji project. Our company is called Postevand. That's the Danish word for tap water. That is our name because that is what we sell. And we hope that we can inspire you, the consumers, to demand more transparency and force the big companies to communicate more honestly and more open. Companies and politicians need to know that it's not longer enough just to hang up a posters with the sustainable development goals and then you are sustainable. No, they need to know that the consumers have seen right through them, and we demand a much higher level of green ambitions, and that goes for all industries. History shows us that all good things come from beneath and up. And that is why it's important that you and we as consumers are cutting down the company's plastic trees, if not only, then for the sake of our children. And dear Germans, our beloved neighbors, you look at your tap water in a completely wrong way, because you do also have much higher standards to tap water than bottled water. And many places in Germany, you have world-class drinking water. Take good care of it, and take good care of the environment. I've now been standing up here for 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes, 15 million new plastic bottles have seen the light of the day. Let's see if we can just do that a little better. Let's see if we can start the German water revolution right now. So, buy a water bottle, order tap water at the restaurant, skip at least every second plastic bottle of water for the sake of the environment and for still be able to breathe in and breathe out without constantly worrying about how we should keep this planet clean in the future. Thank you.